Thanks, Henry. An Ohio man took his grief to Capitol Hill, advocating for more funding for cancer research. Vince Marchetta traveled to Washington, D.C. after losing his wife to cancer. Marchetta said his mission started in 2017 when his wife Betsy was diagnosed with cervical cancer. He said doctors were optimistic unless the cancer returned and became metastatic. When it did, Marchetta said Betsy pursued experimental options, including a clinical trial tied to the National Cancer Institute at NIH. On May 21st, Marchetta brought her story to Washington, joining other advocates at a congressional hearing focused on National Health Institute funding. He said being in that room was about making sure lawmakers connect the budget numbers to real families.
Really what drew me to going to Capitol Hill was the fact that cancer research funding is vital to finding a way to end cancer as we know it for everyone. And there really shouldn't be a question of what is taking place within NIH, but how much can we help in order to advance all of these causes, all of this research into finding cures.
Marchetta said he left D.C. encouraged because he felt the committee understood how much NIH research impacts lives. He said research doesn't always mean an immediate cure, but it can mean more time, more options, and more hope for families facing a diagnosis.